Hey everyone, this is Tony Gentilcore. We're here in Needham, Massachusetts at Iron Body Studios with Gahan and Artemis Scantalides. They just took us through an introductory kettlebell course, me and Lisa. And today I asked if they would be willing to kind of give a little introductory and cueing and proper coaching technique on the kettlebell swing, which is something that, while it's gaining popularity, it still gets butchered quite a bit. So they're going to talk us through how to set up and pattern the kettlebell swing. And I'm just going to let them talk away, so enjoy.
Thanks, Tony.
Yes.
All right. So here at Iron Body Studios, we train the Russian hard-style kettlebell swing, and with that, the basis for that movement is the hip hinge. So it's really important to make sure you pattern your hip hinge and your kettlebell deadlift before you go ahead and start to swing a kettlebell. Some important things about the kettlebell swing that we train, the Russian hard style, is that when we do a two-handed swing, we never swing the bell above our head. And the reason for that is the purpose of the kettlebell swing is to generate maximum force production. So you always want to make sure that you're generating that force forward, because maximal force is projected forward rather than upward. So if you think about athletes or martial artists, if you think about a punch in martial arts, the strongest punch is forward and not up. And another reason that we practice the kettlebell swing, the two-handed kettlebell swing, never above our head, is because it's just not the best position for your shoulders. So most people are not built to be able to have their hands together and bring the bell overhead. They tend to hyperextend their back, tuck their head forward, and perhaps even bend their elbows. So it's just not the safest, most effective way to perform a kettlebell swing. So, is there anything you want to add to that, Eric?
No.
Okay.
That sounds good.
All right. So, at Iron Body Studios, when we teach the kettlebell swing, I'm going to have Eric be my demo here, and I'm just going to talk him through it. So, we teach people to have the kettlebell swing out in front of their feet, about 1 bell length or 1.5 bell lengths from your big toe. Okay? And then what you want to do is you want to use your hip hinge. So you want to hinge over. There you go, folding at the hips first. And you see how Eric chopped his hips? That's a really good way to make sure that you're leading with your hips, right? Just chop your hips with your hands. You're going to hinge over, hips bend, knees bend as a result. And you'll see his weight is, how it's distributed is he has most of his weight is back here on his heels, his glutes, right? His whole foot is on the floor, but most of his weight is here. All right, so then he's going to go ahead and reach for the bell, and this is called the hike position. We call it a hike position because you're going to hike that bell back like a football, right? So when he goes to swing it back, he's going to swing it back with as much force as possible, and then he's going to hip thrust forward and bring that bell forward, okay, with the power from his hips.
A lot of times what can really help people cue in is you'll hear the cue of getting down, hip hinging, and getting down into the silverback gorilla position. So that really helps get that mental cue for people, because people always know what that gorilla position looks like. So they get down, they get hips back. My hips are a little bit higher than my knees, my shoulders are a little bit higher than my hips, and then that's when I get in that high position.
Now before he swings it, I'm just going to show the proper position for the upper body as well. So you want to make sure before you go to swing the bell back, you want to make sure you keep your shoulders packed, right? So Eric, can you just go ahead and demonstrate shoulders unpacked for me? Round your shoulders for me. So see how the bell's a little bit too far in front of him. His shoulders are unpacked, so they're out of their sockets, and he's reaching nice and long for that bell, but it's not so nice, right? Mm-hmm. So now what you want to make sure that you press your shoulders back into their sockets. Good. You see his lats are engaged, keeping his shoulders packed, everything's nice and tight, and his back is flat. All right. So before he starts his swings, I'm just going to talk about the finish of the swing. So he's going to go through his swing set, right? When he goes to swing it back, that first swing might be about knee level, but every swing afterwards, he's going to make sure he swings above his knees and his forearms touch his inner thighs. Okay? You always want your forearms to touch your inner thighs when you go ahead and swing that bell back. You don't want to have that long lever out in front of you swinging the bell below your knees. Then when he finishes his set of swings, he's going to finish it just how he started. He's going to swing it back and then place it safely on the ground. He's not going to finish his swing here and then drop it in front of him. That's a lot of force and pressure on your back. So I'm going to have Eric do 10 swings here. Go ahead, Eric. See how he's projecting his force forward? Good. His head position, he's looking on the floor in front of him, and then he's looking straight ahead. Floor in front of him, and then straight ahead. There you go. And he finished his swing set, he swung it back, and he placed it all safely on the ground. So, two other things I just want to highlight about the swing, the head position. So you just want to make sure, and you saw with Eric's swing, he was looking floor in front of him, and then straight ahead. You want to make sure that you're not here, hyperextending your neck, right? Or, Eric, can you show the, yes, good, thank you. And then, or flexing your neck and moving back through your legs.
So, that's what you...
Yeah, you want to make sure you're not doing that. That's what you're not doing that. And the last, there you go.
So, just a couple of things demonstrating what not to do.
And then the last thing I wanted to highlight is the breathing. You heard Eric breathing. So we use a power breath. It's a diaphragmatic breathing. That's a power breath that we use that helps to automatically brace your core, brace your abdominals. So you inhale through your nose, and then when you exhale, you press your tongue to the roof of your mouth to produce this hissing sound. And by doing that, what happens is you'll feel, if you practice this at home, inhale, you'll feel that your abdominals will brace, right? So your diaphragm is helping to stabilize your lumbar spine. You don't even have to think about it. Just go through that breathing. So you notice that Eric was doing that breathing during his set. Is there anything else you want to add?